Well, well, well. Happy Thursday, everybody. My hair's a mess. Okay, sorry. Hey, we have some humidity here today. It's warm. You've seen me in flannel, you've seen me in everything else, but today it is warm. Come on in. Let's have a little hokey pokey. Hello, there's Yvonne, my Whittier, California girl. How you doing, Yvonne? Good to see you. Who else is here? Got my girl Bobby in here. Woo! Good to see everybody. Come on in. Come on in. It's Thursday, you guys. How do you like that? It is Thursday. Hi, Kimmy. Deb, good to see you. Today is Thursday. We've got all kinds of things going on. Trisha's here. Betsy. Evelyn. And Yvonne is in ketosis. She's doing great. Yay! Ketosis is the way to go, baby. We all want that, don't we? Here we go. Here comes everyone. Marianne. Helen. Hello. Well, you know what they say. When you share, you care. So there it is right there. This is the big book. This is the Saving Dinner, the low carb book. I wrote this book for Marla Silly. This was when we were on our low carb, first round of the low carb diet that we started, and I needed some good recipes, tons. I needed a ton of good recipes, and so I created it. It's right here. This has been one of my most favorite books that I have ever written. I'm planning a video next week. Sprint me up, girlfriend. Hey, this is how you win the book, and Bobby already has won this book. Next week, I'm going to have another one going out. So next Monday, if you share and you care, this is the way to do it. You know, this is the way to do it. And we have a sprint coming up, you guys. A sprint coming up. Yvonne, you're going to do so well on your cruise. And if you don't believe me, there's somebody else who just did a cruise and actually lost weight. They shared yesterday. And I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was that was sharing this, but come on. Who goes on a cruise and loses weight? You do if you plan it right. That's how this all works. So sharing is caring, and this is what we do. Around here, we share about this so we can win books and also so we can get our friends on board. When we sprint, we are actually clearing the decks, getting rid of the inflammation, and going forward for the goals and the things that we have in our lives. Who knew that simple little anti-inflammatory plan can have an anti-inflammatory effect on your life? You know, think about it this way. Have you ever thought about the inflammation that's in your body? Have you ever thought about the inflammation that's maybe in some relationships or in some work? The thing that just swells and is beyond something that you don't want? Have you ever thought about when you focus your power on those things, how you can get those things out of the way, how you can get rid of them? When you focus your energy on your food, how you can create a plan, a way of eating that's going to get you to the place that you want to get to. I think that's the most incredible thing you can do. So quick. We have, for all you hot melters who are here, and there's a bunch of you, because you always join me, which I love. Thank you for being here. Hot Melt Diet is my paid group, and there's a Facebook group for that. We have my supplement guru, Todd, showing up at 2 o'clock Eastern today in the group to talk about supplements and how to use them to your advantage. To me, I call this having an unfair advantage because it takes what you're doing and puts it on steroids. It just makes it work that much better. And he's going to give you the whole lowdown. He knows more than I do on these things. And this is what I do. When I don't know about something, I seek somebody who does. And I want somebody who knows 10 times what I do. And this is Todd. You guys will love him. He's fantastic. Friday, we have the Q&A. Don't forget, it is the Q&A on Friday. So if you have questions, I'll answer them. All you do is send in an email to support@savingdinner.com and we'll answer all of them. Okay? Lisa's already making soup. How do you get into the group? Says Abigail. Go to savingdinner.com/sprint and everything will be right there. It'll tell you exactly how to get there, and we will let you in. We will gladly bring you in. And let me just tell you, if you want a great group of women who have your back and your front and you're all around you, this is the group for you. I've been doing groups on Facebook forever, and I've never seen such a cohesive group. I've never seen such a great group of women who are just there for each other. You know, this is what we need. We need this in our lives so desperately. You know, gone are the days when we, talked over the fence with our neighbors. Gone are the days where we didn't just drive into our garages and shut the door and walk in with our groceries. You know, we don't have that kind of a neighborhood anymore. At least most of us don't. And we need our friends. I grew up, the girls that I grew up with on my street in the 60s and 70s, I'm still friends with them all these years later. But those are bygone years. That's like watching reruns of, Andy of Mayberry. It's just not there anymore. So, Elaine, I'm glad you're here. Showing up late is showing up. I mean, you get here when you get here. I'm happy that you're here. Thank you for coming. It's an honor to have you. It's an honor to have everybody. Thank you for showing up. NutriCoach appointments. If you're looking for a new career, go to NutriCoachSchool.com. Check it out. There's places to make appointments everywhere. And I've already got 2 flybabies who've graduated and are just doing great things already. So I'm pretty excited about that. All right. So today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the future, the present, the future, and where is my, oh goodness, I seem to be missing I am missing a whole page of my notes. That's fantastic. But, I'm just going to start where we are. Yes, this is Wise Women. We have a bunch of wise women in here. And as I was thinking about yesterday, how we were talking about all kinds of things yesterday, but the thing that really stuck out with me was that there are 2 ways to live. You can live as if nothing is a miracle at all, or you can live as if everything is a miracle. And that's an Einstein quote. But what a difference that makes, and how much that changes your heart, and how much that changes the perception of what it is that you're seeing all around you. We have to have that in our lives. Without that, life's dismal. We are literally just like Eeyore, walking around with a rain cloud over our heads. And life is entirely too short for that. Don't you agree? I don't know about you, but that's not at all what I want. So what we have to do then is, and this is one of the things that I have been thinking about quite a bit, is how we have a tendency, and I'm guilty of this, and this is why I'm looking at this really strongly myself. But we have this tendency to look at our past, to relive our past, to recount our past, and to go into extraordinary, excruciating detail with anybody who will listen. We've been done wrong, or this happened at work, or you're not going to believe about this. This happens all the time, and that we have just this horrible stuff. And it's interesting because Marla and I were having this discussion about, we had some issues. We've been in business for, Marla's 20 years, me, I'm going on 19. So, you have things happen in your business. And we were talking about some of the things that just weren't so delightful. And we both said, I think almost at the same time, I don't want to get into that. Because it's like walking through the sewage, of the past. But I thought about this and started thinking about how we get caught and where the snares are, where the entrapments are. And a lot of times it is with our past. And so, the whole thing about the present is a gift. So, live in the present, and tomorrow hasn't come yet. So whatever. Okay. So we've got all that. But, the past really can be something that is the lens in which we see everything. Understandably, because our experiences taught us things. But our experience isn't always accurate. What we thought about, like I'll give you an experience, for example. oh, okay. So this is kind of a thing, and I mean, this is something I had to go through counseling for. And, I had a situation where I had a remembering of something that I think really colored a lot of my adult life. And that was this experience of feeling abandoned. And my parents had a very volatile relationship. And I remember waking up in the middle of the night in a moving car. I was in the front seat and my brother and sister were sleeping in the back seat. I looked over the back and saw them sleeping. And then I looked over and I saw my dad driving, and then I fell back asleep. When I woke up again, I woke up in this strange bed, and I still remember the feeling of the sheets, and I still remember the house and everything. And the sheets were white, very starched. Back in the day, they used to do that. They used to iron sheets. And I didn't know where I was. And then this woman came in, and she said to me, "Oh, hi, Leanne. I'm so glad you're awake. Are you ready for breakfast or whatever?" And I was like, well, where's my family? Where's my sister? Where's my brother? Where's my mom? Where's my dad? "Oh, well, everything's going to be okay. Just come eat breakfast." And this went on for a few days. I was by myself with these strange couple. I don't know who they were. I do now, of course. I didn't at the time know who they were. But my parents had had a big fight, and my dad had, for whatever reason, dropped me off and then taken my brother and sister with him. And I don't know what happened with them. And none of us have ever talked about this. But that feeling of abandonment totally colored my experience going forward. Now, I didn't realize this was all happening, of course. And I didn't realize what a mark this would leave with my relationships with men. With just this feeling of just feeling like I'm not good enough, or why didn't they keep me, and just this horrible feeling. And I remember being in the bathtub and crying my eyes out over this, and just that horrible feeling of abandonment. What I can say about this is that feeling of abandonment that happened, while it's real, is not appropriate for today, because it was something that happened back then due to brokenness from the part on my dad, the brokenness on the part of my mom and my family, And when you can put those things into perspective, then you can start to back your way out of the situation and put that into the experience file. Instead of having that color everything that you do, you can have that just say, this is what happened to me back then, but this doesn't need to color what is going to happen to me in the future. We have a little hand on the stove knee-jerk reaction for sure. I'm not gonna say that your experiences don't matter. What I am going to say is that sometimes we have to file that in the filing cabinet of experience and learn from those lessons. So what I have done now is, with my little, childhood traumas do stay with us forever. But we can understand that a 5-year-old or a 4-year-old's perspective doesn't need to be a 61-year-old woman's perspective anymore. Do you understand what I'm saying with that? It doesn't have to be like that. This is what I said to Mark when I knew all about this and everything. This is, after we had met in it and I'd gone through the counseling, done all the things with it. And I said to him, "Look, I have abandonment issues. And this is what it looks like. These are the reasons why. So this is what I need from you." When we tell somebody what our needs are and what we need exactly, instead of making them guess, things turn around. I didn't make him guess, or, he's not an expert in this. He's not an expert in what happened to me, my childhood trauma. But if I told him and give him the information that he needs to make the right choice of what it is that needs to happen, then that's what can happen. For example, I told him, I said, "Look, this happened, and and so these certain types of behavior are going to rock my world a little bit, and it's not that, oh my gosh, go away. I don't have my little stick. but it's not that, I can't get past this. It's just that I'm going to need a little reassurance. It's okay to ask for, I need a little help with this, or I need a little help with that. And let me just tell you, 4 years later, it helped, because those things are less of a focus than they have been. In other words, we can get over things. And sometimes we need to file things. There are certain things that will stay with you forever and ever. Amen. There's certain things that are just simply tragedies. But as my friend Christina Rasmussen said, that she said, when I went through the horrible, I understood that I was able to get through the impossible. How do you like that? I mean, that's just what it is. When we are able to get through the horrible things that we've gone through, then we can understand what's possible for us in the future. But we can't do that if we're stuck. And I want to unstick you. So, we talk about when we relive our things over and over again, and let's talk about it not in such great, big, huge childhood trauma terms, but in just things like, this is what happened at work, or I'm being misrepresented at work, or so-and-so is against me, or, whatever gossipy thing is happening. When you choose, and that's the key word, when you choose to relive that by recounting it over and over and over again, you're stirring up the same body chemistry that happened to you before. So in other words, you're reliving it. So reliving it isn't giving you any more information. It's simply recreating it again and again and again. And it gets you stuck in that little time warp. And getting stuck in that time warp doesn't allow you to move the needle on the things that you want to. So your want to isn't lining up with your truth. We say we want to lose weight, for example. We say we want to get rid of the inflammation, the pain, and the what have you. But then we go through and we talk about all the reasons why we can't. I can't make the bone broth. I can't sprout broccoli sprouts. I can't do that. I'm not going to get on Facebook and do that. I can't do this. I won't do that. Well, you've just completely roped yourself into a can't cycle. And I said, well, like I said yesterday, your butts belong in a can. No buts. You're either in or you're out. There's a wholehearted way of doing things, and there's a half-hearted way of doing things. And living in your past is half-hearted. Living in your past gives you no fuel for your future. And when we get stuck in that, and when we understand that, and when we understand that there's just, your past almost becomes like a ghost, where it comes and it haunts you over and over and over again. But it doesn't need to be that. And that's why I'm saying, if we can take the past and those lessons from the past. So there's this much information, right? There's this much information. There's all the details that go with it. But there's this much from the experience that you need to take away as, lesson learned. That's all you need. And then if you forget about the details because somebody else is bringing it up, this happens to me all the time now, and I'm so grateful for it. But this happens when somebody says to you, listen, remember the time, blah, 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 and you're saying, you know what, I don't. I remember generally what happened, but I don't remember all those details. Then you know you're free. You don't need to be trapped by your past. Your past doesn't need to trap you and put you on the carousel of crazy, around and up and down, going nowhere, doing nothing for you, just destroying what's between your ears, destroying your faith in yourself, and writing you out of the picture. When we give our power away like this, and and most of the time we don't even realize it. I keep getting text. They need to go away. It's my tea tester from India. When that happens, we have to start taking stock in what we want our future to look like, and that starts today. When you take a look at what you say that you want and write it down, I am a powerful sprinter. You want to get through 7 days? You want to get through 7 days powerfully? Then you start preparing today. You want to get through those 7 days and get rid of the inflammation? Then you are a planner. You are a planner. You take this on as your job. You're not going to ask anybody else to do it for you. You're going to figure it out yourself. Seriously, if you have questions, of course, ask questions. But don't ask a question if you haven't read the material. Don't ask a question you haven't even gone through all of it at least once, maybe even twice. Don't ask a question. And if you can't find something, then Google it, for heaven's sakes, or go duck it, whatever. But when you start taking the power back and you start being in the driver's seat instead of allowing everybody else to do for you, you go from being pitiful to being powerful. Planning is a power move. Pitiful is saying, I just don't know what to do, and just sit there like a baby. Wow, somebody help me. Somebody change my diaper. And I'm not doing that for you. I'm not going to, because I expect you to stand up for yourself. I expect you to have a voice in this. I expect you to stand up, rise up, and do the work. Because those who do, those people who do, those are all my sprinters who are just standing on top of the hill like Rocky. And I hear the music, da 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 da. Are you with me? Right? If you are Rocky, give me some fist pumping or give me some kind of loving, whatever. But just show me that you're there. Because I have so many Rockies in this group, it's not even funny. They have finished and done it. They've taken the work on. That's what happens. That's what happens. Lessons learned. Our past needs to be lessons learned, moving on. Can we do that? Of course we can. Can we be empowered? Absolutely. Anytime you want to be powered, flip the switch, flip the switch, flip the switch. There's a lot of switches to flip. You don't have to be left in the place of being hopeless and helpless. Hopeless and helpless is just, it's dumb. I'm just going to say it, it's dumb. It's a choice too. It is a choice to stand up and to take back your power. Taking back your power is what's going to get you through the sprint. And from the sprint, you are going to see so many possibilities you never even thought of for your life. You never even thought of for your life. And if you're one of those people who have changed your life because of the sprint, start writing some comments in there and give me some hearts, because there are so many people here. There are so many people here who have done this. And those people I'm celebrating, and I'm celebrating them because they understand that you can have a life that's rich, that's powerful, and that's fun. A life that's not encumbered by your, seeming restrictions, your obstacles, all the things. You can get them out of the way. You don't have to live in, oh my God, I was abandoned when I was 4 years old, so therefore I'll never have a relationship again. Therefore, give some other doom and gloom prognosis. You don't have to. Your today habits, the things that you're doing today are going to show up in what tomorrow looks like. That's what it is. That's what routines do. All of this does, it points you, it's your true north. It points you toward the life that you really, truly want. And I'm telling you, if you're racked with pain, excess body clutter, you can't get around, you can't do things with your grandchildren, you can't this, you can't that, because you haven't really looked it in the eye and said, I'm taking you down, then you don't have the future you want, do you? You don't have it. And I want you to have it. And I just want you to see that staying today in today, the gift of today, is super important. But you can set yourself up for a tomorrow that's just as much of a gift if you leave the past behind. Have your lessons, but put the lessons in the filing cabinet of life. We've all got regrets. We've all got things that have happened to us, either victimized by them or by our own hand or whatever. Stuff happens. Nobody gets through this life without being horrible, right? Nobody gets through this life without having some kind of horrible thing happen. It's just the way it is. You don't have to live in it all the time. No, you don't have to roll around in it. We talked about yesterday, you know how dogs go and they roll around in the dirt and then they bring it all into your house? That's what happens to us. That's what happens to us. We roll around in our past and we bring it in and it's just all over our house. You cannot be flipping switches if you're constantly cleaning up. You can't. You're capable of creating the life you want and the life that gives back to you. In the spades, you are. The Bible says that without a vision, the people perish. And I believe that that is something for us to look at today. We don't want to perish. We don't want to leave, this earth without having the vision for ourselves, for our families, for our lives fulfilled. Do we? This is why we step on to something as simple as the sprint. That's why we go full in. Last time I told you, plan for it like you were planning for a wedding or some big event. Plan for it. Go get your groceries. Go start your seeds. Get your bone broth made. Put stuff in the freezer. All of these things are going to equal success for your future. That's how that works. And I believe you have everything you need right now to begin right now today. Everything. You've got a plan. You've got the friends around you. You've got everything that you possibly need to make a success out of this. So if you're not going to do it, I don't know what to tell you. I'm just saying you're going to miss out. You can create the home you want with having that kind of a forward thinking by doing one little thing every day, doing a couple of little things every day, by having a vision for your home, a vision that you want to see, how you want to see it decorated. You can do this by having a vision for yourself and how you want to see you decorated. It's all connected. All these things that you do for your house and for yourself gives you the life that you want to leave. The life that you want to lead and the life and the legacy that you want to leave behind. And I firmly believe with all my heart that we are living our legacy right now. That we who are older women who are in our 60s and have grandchildren and all of this, we are actually living our legacy in front of our grandchildren, in front of our children. What we do, what we're doing has an impact on future generations. Do you understand that? I want you to understand that. But you cannot do that if you're going to be pitiful and live in your past. You need to be powerful and live in your today with an eye toward the future. That's what wise women do. A wise woman builds her house, but a foolish one tears it down with her own hands. That's Proverbs 14:1, I believe. With her own hands. So wise women out there, and you know who I'm talking to. I'm talking to all of you who have done this. I'm talking to all of you who are full on pushing into it and embracing this because it has some meaning to you and it is going to create a future for you. You that I'm talking to right now, be powerful. Leave pitiful behind. I'm done with it. I'm done with pitiful. And if you are powerful, I want you to tell me right now, I am powerful. Because you are. God doesn't make junk. You cannot be pitiful living in you cannot have the life you want if you live in the past. That's pitiful. Powerful stands in today with an eye to the future. And that's what I want to say to you as you get ready for the sprint. Mondays are coming, ladies. Mondays are coming, and we are going to be the powerful women who take on this sprint and move the needle in our lives, not just on the scale, but in our lives. Powerful. I think that's so powerful. Anyway, that's all I have to say. That's enough. We have the Hot Melt Diet group. You will have to move in there, and we will be having Todd coming shortly. I am so excited about this because this guy knows his stuff. So be there or be square. And again, if you have questions, don't forget, send your questions in for Friday's Q&A. That's tomorrow. support@savingdinner.com. And share this, okay? We share this video with some friends. Let them know. Bring them on to the sprint. Bring your buddies on. They need this just as much as you do. Tell them to go to savingdata.com/sprint and we will do it. We're all in it together. We're all in it to win it. Love you guys. Mean it. Thanks so much for joining me today. And I will see you over in the Hot Melt Diet group in just a few. Bye.